This podcast is part of the Listen Frederick Podcast Network. To learn more, visit listenfrederick.com.
What's up, everybody? It's episode 100 of Beers in the Lot. We recorded this episode in person in Eric's basement, aka the Beers in the Lot studio. We even had a special guest on today. We had our buddy Ross, longtime friend of Daniel and John and I, and the five of us had way too much fun sharing some beers and talking about memories, and then also the Malkin and Letang situation in Pittsburgh, as well as the Backstrom situation in Capitals world, and a couple of the draft picks that made some impressions on us. So here we go. Let's get to it and crack those beers. Oh, it's hot. That's good.
Wait, what's hot?
It was sexy beer cracks. That's hot as in like Paris Hilton. That's hot.
Oh. Ooh, that's hot.
That's hot.
Yeah, I decided to hold my mic, so I have a lot of head in my glass. So I'm going to have to wait to take a sip.
Well, what is that head on top of in that glass, Daniel?
So today, I finally picked up. I've been looking at these guys for a while. Kush by Kushwa Brewing, Kush IPA, New England style IPA.
Kushwa's good.
Yeah.
Look at that pour. You guys bitched me months ago. For
I didn't put my mic down. I did not put my mic down when I cracked mine.
He explained it.
So what beer are you drinking?
What am I? So I'm drinking from Treehouse, Electric Skies American Double IPA. Pretty good. My first Treehouse beer.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. And I didn't even bring it to you.
Danny got me in on the scholarship fund, so yeah. Via a silent donor who will be revealed soon.
Who
We'll be silent soon.
All will be
By
answered.
the end of the pod.
All will be answered. Aaron, what are you drinking today?
My mountains are blue tonight. Coors Light. Old Faithful.
But you were offered a treehouse.
I was indeed offered a treehouse, but I declined since everything is, like sextuple IPAs. So I decided to pass. What you got over there, Riggs?
I also have a treehouse from the to-be-named donor.
Silent benefactor.
Silent benefactor. It is Emperor Julius Double IPA, and it is excellent, just like all treehouse brews are. And the silent benefactor
happens to be in the room today.
Happens to be in our room for episode 100 of Beers in the Lot. This is a milestone episode.
Centennial.
We're finally all in person in my basement, which is normally my studio, but now it's everyone's studio.
No, it's the studio.
It's the Beers in the Lot North Frederick location.
North Frederick studio.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes from the rink. You're welcome.
All right. So without further ado, we all need to find out who is this angel investor we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes.
This angel investor.
So Ross,
hey,
what
guys.
are you drinking tonight?
I'm having a double Nugs Black Flag. It's pretty good.
Oh, Black Flag.
Yeah.
You don't have tree. You brought us treehouse and you didn't bring your own treehouse?
No.
Oh,
This is my last three.
Oh, what are you doing?
As I said,
saved them
angel
for you guys.
investor.
Oh,
Angel
my.
investor. Look at this.
He did say angel.
Look at the
Angel.
I saved
did
that
say
one for
angel.
you, Riggs, especially.
look at this while I pour the rest
Angel
of it in my
investor.
glass.
Introduce yourself a little more besides the
No,
the beer.
Aaron
This is
has,
a guy we found on the street with some tree house beers.
No,
in his
Aaron
backpack.
has to do the formal
right.
introduction.
All right, well,
He's
this
that guy.
I guess I'll do it in the intro, but whatever. Ross, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for
This
having me.
might be a regular thing when we record in person, I hope. I mean, we've probably talked about you as one of our buddies in previous stories on the pod before, but
Now we get to actually use your name.
I'm the hot potato. One of the hot
He's
potatoes.
not the hot,
one of
he's
the
not the
hot
hot tater
potatoes.
tot.
Yeah.
He's
he's
not
the
the
hot potato.
little potato.
Ross is kind of like the baked potato. I think I'm like the hot potato.
No,
Ross is kind of like the microwave man. He's like really calm, and then he just gets super heated quick.
Boom.
Yeah, boom. He's a microwave
Yeah,
man.
if you thought Daniel was quiet, then I'm expecting a handful of words out of Ross tonight. Hopefully more, but
So Ross, also known as Davey Who, or no, Davey What,
Davey
No,
what?
Davey
Oh,
What,
Davey what?
or Danny Who's friend
Mhm.
in
Yes.
Old Fat Bald Guys hockey.
yes.
We've known each other for 20 plus years now at this point
Mhm.
because we're old. And we actually met at in junior high. We traded what was a Penguins hat for like a little Penguins keychain.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, and that's how it all started.
Wait, who traded what?
He had the hat, gave it to me. No, I had the hat.
You had
gave
the
it
hat.
to you.
Yeah,
I took the keychain.
yeah.
I think somebody lost on that deal.
No, I think there was something else on that.
There had to have
I
been.
can't
A
wear
Lunchable,
snapbacks.
probably.
I can't wear snapbacks. My head is too big.
Yeah.
Cash consideration.
Yeah, future
considerations.
Considerations.
Future considerations.
I just wanted a friend, so I saw he was a Pens fan. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make a friend today."
So you were like the
This guy's
Arizona.
kinda
You were like the Arizona of junior high. You were just making bad trades just to make friends.
You got me here though.
It
did.
did.
True.
It
Did.
did. It did.
You're welcome.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So special guest for episode 100. It's awesome. I love it. And he brings Treehouse.
Yeah, I think
Amazing.
that has to be a thing. We record in person.
In
Guests have to bring
person.
beer.
No, in
Guest
person
brings
guests.
the beer.
In person guests have to bring Treehouse.
Oh, treehouse. I like that. I like
Or
that.
bourbon.
They have to go on a trek.
Yeah, you got to do some quest. We'll figure out.
You have to do a quest.
Side quests.
Pilgrimage.
Yeah.
So speaking of OFBG, we're recording before OFBG, 2 weeks before the summer tournament, which is coming back this year.
Super excited.
Very excited.
Oh yeah, that's always a time.
Very
Yeah,
excited.
can't go wrong.
Pool parties,
Golf all day Friday.
beer,
Pool
golf,
parties,
Yeah.
beer,
Yeah, beer is understood throughout.
hockey
and
tournament.
then hockey is played
Yeah, hockey tournament.
Hockey is attempted.
somewhere in there. Hockey is attempted.
It is a charity event. We raise money, or the organization raises money for Platoon 22, local veteran services organization in the area. We're definitely going to be pushing out the donate now stuff from our socials. So if you're listening, keep an eye out for that. We're also trying to get involved in the promotion on that and some other things. So keep an eye out. One big thing that we're definitely going to do is actually record in the lot at the rink. So it will truly be beers in the lot. Probably the Saturday in between the morning and afternoon games, depending on what the schedules are. We might have some special guests there, maybe some return guests. That would be nice. We'll see. But it should be good.
We have a
And
lot of guests.
We're
Yeah.
definitely looking for. I mean, people
Yeah.
could just walk by and
walk
pick
by.
up a
Walk
mic
up
if
and
they
start.
want.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
we're gonna be
Well,
there.
wait,
Like,
wait.
check
We're not
1, 2.
encouraging. This isn't like Gotham. We don't need vigilante justice here. Like, there has to be somewhat of a process. I'm not saying.
Well, we
it's-
still snatch the mic out of their hand.
Yeah, we could just, pull
Well,
our
club
cord, yeah.
We have Ross.
Club 'em,
We
yeah.
have Ross now.
Yeah,
he
you gonna
could
bring
be
your
our-
shillelagh?
He could be our. He could be our heavy.
Yeah, we got a street tough.
Yeah.
We got a
Why?
street.
We got a street
Heavy?
tough now.
What?
Heavy?
What?
Why?
No, that's just no. It's just you never heard that term.
Oh,
That's like a mob term.
Yeah, it's a
like,
mob
we got
term.
the heavies.
Come
All
on,
right.
man.
Yeah. The
Street
heavy
tough.
bruisers. Yeah,
Street.
he's sensitive. He's sensitive.
You could be our bouncer.
I'll stand around for another sticker.
You got more than a sticker.
Yeah, come on. Ross is like, well, in gas and round trip and the beer. I mean, gosh, like so much money.
You're going to be at the tournament anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
This
yeah,
is all
okay.
a joke.
yeah,
I'm just giving you a joke.
everything is a joke.
Joke on jokes.
All right, Ross. So
Oh god.
What's your first positive memory with hockey, whether it be with Danny or in general?
Positive memory?
Well, I say positive because I have a lot of negative too.
Really?
Yeah, it's a yin.
gracious.
Yeah, it's a yin and a yang, man.
NHL 93.
Yeah.
Now
Better
it's
known as
hockey.
NHLPA hockey at the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
The little yellow.
Didn't even have a
tab
year on it.
the
Yeah,
Sega.
that's right.
Mhm.
It was the first one.
I had just gotten Sega Genesis.
Hell yeah.
I don't know where the heck mom found NHL 93. I played it. Family always loved the Steelers. So I was like, yeah, I'll play the Penguins.
Here we
Of
go.
course.
Yeah.
It's either the Penguins or the East All Stars, which are the Penguins.
At the time,
At
yeah.
93,
time,
and
At
I'm
the
like,
time.
so I loved it.
Yeah, that was
That's
Great
awesome.
thing.
And then playing.
We went to a church for what is the summer thing they do? Like a Bible school.
Okay.
And they had a big auditorium where they would move all the chairs out of the way and have like little ball hockey things.
Yes.
Nice.
So we were there
a good church.
talking with
Yeah.
another guy that had a Penguins hat on, and it's your cousin, uncle?
Uncle. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's before I met you. And
Yeah.
then I met you, and then we learned that it was,
Yeah.
and that's Kris was the reason I'm playing hockey.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Stellar.
We used to play with those little mini nets we made out of laundry baskets.
Yep. Well, that was after the recycling.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah. We ruined a few of
You
those.
guys broke the
Yes.
recycling
Oh,
bins?
of course.
Yeah, I broke a few too. The worst is when like dad actually made me and my brother like, you guys got to pay me for the replacement fee. There's also a few mailboxes damaged too. We were pretty rough.
That's right. Your dad had 3 boys.
Yeah, 3 boys.
So that's what I'm looking at.
3 boys, 2.
I'd start
well,
charging
actually,
for.
actually,
Recycling
Start
bin.
charging
well,
for
and
damages.
the funny thing is, my one brother who didn't, he always did sports just to kind of do them to be like productive and active, and there's nothing like my parents ever forced on him. But my twin, he was actually like good at goalie and great at baseball, and I loved baseball growing up. I couldn't hit a pool of water if I was standing in it with a baseball bat. I could field and throw like really great after like coach pitch, but I couldn't hit a single thing. It was so embarrassing. And then I was getting benched, and that was like the last time I played baseball. I was like, I'm done with this. I ain't doing this anymore. And then I just went hockey and soccer. But my
So
twin
you
was
started
like
playing
gifted.
hockey, which is, takes more coordination.
Well, no, we were doing. So at one point, I would do hockey in the winters, baseball or soccer in the summer, and a lot of times it was like baseball, and then I would do soccer really quick in the fall. Like my parents always would like enroll me in a short season of soccer, and I did it, and I played soccer up till I was a freshman in high school, and I loved it. I still love soccer. I still love baseball too. I just wish I could hit. So I'm like Uncle
Fair
Rico.
enough.
I'm like, man, if I could have hit, I would have played MLB. I feel like
I would have gone pro.
and if only I
I
was
could
like
throw a baseball over the mountains.
7 inches taller. Yeah, yeah. I can throw a baseball over those mountains. Watch this. Give me
7
that.
inches? Just 7?
Hmm?
Just 7 inches?
Just 7 inches. Yeah.
We're starting off strong. We got heavy jokes and we got short jokes.
Yeah. Ross, tell because it's funny because you mentioned
Flip
that.
flops or what?
No, the first time you and I met each other going to the Linkin Park concert.
I don't really remember exactly what we said.
Yeah.
You're going to have to say that.
So everyone like Danny and I, we were buddies because of the rink and whatnot, and Aaron. So like they hung out with Ross and they hung out with me, and they're like, man, these two we gotta do something. Like we meet, and so like I remember like they were like, Ross is kind of a clown, kind of like you, like he's kind of a jerk. I was like, oh, this is great. And he's like, well, he's totally gonna make fun of the fact you're short. And then either Aaron or Danny, I can't remember, they're like, well, he has a big head, so like whatever. And so like Aaron was driving with his broken leg at the time.
That's right.
Danny was in the front seat.
That's right.
Ross is in the back seat. They pick me up, and I get in the car. Ross just looks at me. He goes, man, you're fucking short. I'm like, you got a big fucking head, dude. And then, like, we've been buddies.
Best
We've been buddies since
buddies
then.
ever since.
Best buds. But actually, Ross has a great, like, he can recant the story better than I could about our flip-flops in DC. Going for Aaron's, it was Aaron's bachelor party.
Yeah.
You guys knew
KC.
you were going to be walking.
We did
No.
not know.
That was the
Uber
problem.
wasn't a thing at the time, was it?
No,
No,
it was
no.
not.
But taxis were.
taxis.
Nothing stopped you from taking one.
Have you seen Aaron's brother? He's not taking a taxi anywhere.
KC was like, it's right down the street.
Yeah,
We
Casey's
walked
also
17
fit.
miles that day
Yeah,
in flip-flops.
Yeah.
We were struggling.
that's after midday paintball in which Danny was practically
I was
dehydrated.
in a mechanic suit
He
in
was
like
in
90-degree
a full
weather.
body
An
car.
insulated Carhartt bodysuit.
He was in like the Michael Myers
In
Carhartt
August.
suit.
In August.
You can see the sweat coming out of the suit.
You were afraid of getting hit?
I never played before, and I'm like, I don't know
Oh
what's
my
going
God.
on.
It's not going to kill you.
I only got hit once, just saying.
He only felt it
Anyway.
once.
Yeah, he only felt-
You're out. You're out. You didn't hit me. I didn't feel it.
You have 7 shots on your chest
the
right
guy,
there.
the guy too. Like when he kind of checked us in and was going through the safety protocol, he even goes like, "Oh, you're wearing like sweatpants and a long sleeve. You'll be fine. Oh, you're wearing jeans." He looked at Danny. He goes, "Are you hot?" And Danny's like, "What?" And he's like, "All right, let's go." And it was hot as hell that day.
So
It was,
humid.
It was,
It was-
very. It was a typical
It was a bad
Maryland
choice.
humid day.
The maple.
Oh, we got these before. Everyone's like, "Hey, does anyone have like a bottle of booze or something?" I was like, "I can go grab a bottle." And the only thing really quick at this little liquor store on my way down, we went somewhere in like Redneck, Virginia.
Hey.
I said Virginia.
He said Virginia, not
Oh,
West
Virginia,
Virginia.
sorry.
I said
I just immediately put them together.
You
Yeah,
just
Sorry.
immediately assumed Redneck
Yeah.
Virginia's
Yeah.
West.
Either way,
Either way.
accurate.
Either way.
so.
Accurate.
The only thing they had was like this massive bottle of vodka, and I was like, I do not want that.
No.
So they had like this Crown Royal Maple,
Hmm.
and I was kind of
It's
like,
good stuff.
"Yeah, well, it's whiskey,
Delicious.
like whatever, we'll have
Yeah.
it." So I was passing the flask around before, and everyone's like, "Oh, this ain't bad." And when we got to the paintball place, somehow, some way, in the confusion of us like changing, because we got there a few minutes late, I or somebody else, I can't remember, accidentally left the metal flask I had on, and it was a big size flask, on the front seat in the sun.
Oh.
It gets good though. So I remember we were changing, and someone goes, "Hey, Johnny, pass me that." And I'm like, and I go to the van and I see like it's sitting on the front seat. I'm like, ugh, thinking like maybe I made a boo boo. So I grabbed it, and it was almost like a burning skillet. It was so hot to touch. So I go, "I think I left it in the sun. My bad. There's tons of booze in here if you want." And he goes, "I don't care, whatever." So I threw it to him, and I forget who it was. And he took a sip, and they're like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Oh, it burned your tongue." Like thinking like it was just so hot of a liquid. And they're like, "No, it tastes like maple syrup." So I, of course, instantly going like, "You're insane. Give me a swig." I was like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life."
It's like a hot totty.
It was like a hot
It's like
toddy.
Yeah.
drinking
It was a hot toddy.
pancakes.
So
if
then we
you-
started passing it around, and it was like hot
Yeah.
maple syrup. And then we-
Evaporating on your tongue.
evaporating our tongue. It was delicious.
Wow.
And then we fast forward to Aaron's wedding in a church with no AC, and Ross and I are practically about to die of heat stroke.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Oh, and also I
That was
took
hot
a
summer.
shot. Like
That was
as soon as I
awesome.
took a shot, the pastor, Padre walks in. He's like, "Hello, young man." I'm like, "Hey."
Having pancakes this morning?
Yeah, I know. So, but I think they like discontinued it shortly thereafter.
Did
Unfortunately,
they really?
yeah, that's no more Crown Maple.
They don't have Crown Maple
I
anymore?
think they still have
Crown
that.
Maple.
Peach.
I haven't
Oh,
seen
we
it.
had peach.
Peach.
I've
Maybe
had
Crown Peach now.
Crown Apple.
I know
Peach
they
would
have
be
apples
good.
still. Peach sounds good.
Peach
Ooh,
is
maybe
good.
like peach cobbler.
Peach is
Leave
good.
that up. Leave
Ooh,
that.
there
in
you
the
go.
sun.
Leave that in the
Leave
sun.
Yeah.
that in the sun.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Wow, we were.
Well, you got to tell the story about the blankets KC gave us after we went walking 17 miles.
Or lack thereof.
So the best is we were told not to get any hotels, nothing. Casey has ample lodging. So in our head, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like a few couches, whatever, not a big deal.
I got to put the beer down so I can make
I know.
hand gestures.
He's about to get so
He's about to go off.
so. Ross stubbed his toe. We were struggling walking because it
we
was so
almost
long.
died that
And
day.
it was like, but I
You
will
got
say
drank under the table.
we did found DC Brow, like the booze, good beer.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
We had it
delicious.
multiple places.
Yeah, they're solid. Yeah.
Multiple
delicious.
places.
Yeah.
It was also the same night I got hustled chugging. I was devastated for an hour or two. Some say I'm still bothered by it, but
You're
we're
not.
not going to talk
It's-
about it. We're gonna talk about
You
it.
did bring it up.
I did. No, I didn't.
Do you wake up in sweats some nights?
Yeah.
You're like, "Ugh."
That's my like Vecna memory from Stranger Things. Like that's the one that's going to torment me. So we walk into Casey's apartment and
There's 2 king beds in a corner that take up like 90% of the room. which is where he slept with his cat. And then the 7 other guys, was it just 4 of us? 5 of us?
I think it was 5. Yeah. 5. Yeah. You 5. And then me.
We slept on the floor
in various places.
in
around
various
the room.
places.
Wait, in the same room?
In the same room.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's like a 2-room
It's
apartment.
an apartment
yeah.
in
One bedroom.
in DC.
A 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not exaggerating
smaller
when I
in
say
this
this.
area
Yeah, I was
right
gonna
here.
say it's smaller than this.
This den
His
area.
kitchen, I've seen bigger kitchens on a submarine.
Yeah, there
That's
we go.
how-
It's about this size. Yeah, the size of
Yeah.
Eric's bar.
And the best is
His
Casey's
basement
like
bar.
Casey goes, "Oh, this has everything I need," and I go, "Except for guest space." Like,
So I posted up underneath his computer desk because that's where the PC was
Oh,
coming
the
out of
PC.
the
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
out of the back of the thing, and I had a wet towel that I showered with as my blanket.
Oh,
I don't
my.
know if that made
Oh.
sense. It did at the time. We had some DC brows, but
yeah.
a wet towel, and I was actively like hugging the PC for warmth.
And I remember
All night.
I remember too. The best, like the next morning, we all went to that bagel place, which is actually really good. And Aaron came out of the bedroom. He goes, "Oh man, I slept great." And all of us like begrudgingly looked at him. We're like, "You're a dick."
Where did you sleep?
He slept
In
in
the
the bed.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. All
Casey and
these
him
years-
and
It was
the
my
cat were the
wedding.
only one that had beds.
That cat was all up in like the
Dude, that
blinds
cat,
and stuff.
that cat was a pimp. That cat totally cucked us.
Oh yeah,
Like, without a doubt.
all these years I thought Aaron was down on the floor with us.
No,
He was not in the trenches.
No, he wasn't in the
It was
trenches.
my wedding. Why?
Hey, just like all these years, I thought he ate the fucking onions.
Oh.
my God.
I was going to bring that up earlier, but
Well, guess what? You know what? Now's your time. Because I know somebody that's sitting in here that was his first year at Johnstown last year, and he ate all his onions.
And time out before Ross gets into it.
35 minutes later,
Ross went up to hang out.
Yeah, he just went up
Yeah,
to
he
hang
wanted
out.
wanted
I
out.
didn't even play.
He
I
didn't
didn't
even
have
play
a
hockey.
good
Didn't
frickin'
necessarily
time.
have to eat, but
But he did.
did anyway.
He did. He did his duty.
John knows he's wrong.
Yes.
It is what it is.
For shame.
He'll have his chance to eat the onions.
He will. He'll do it too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, he'll do
He'll
it.
order
Yeah,
I'm
double
not-
onions.
that's not the question.
It just needs to be done.
It's just the disappointment that he did it the first time.
He's
and
not-
then
Rigsby
and
is
then-
not mad. He's just disappointed.
I know I'm just disappointed. I'm not angry.
Thanks,
I'm not
Dad.
angry. I'm just
It's
disappointed.
like Papa Bear.
This makes me so upset. My dad just said he's upset at me.
I didn't say
Or
upset.
disappointed.
Just said
That's even worse.
Even worse.
Said disappointed.
I have to go back to this story about us about you guys sleeping all over the floor in my brother's apartment.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a meme recently where it's like you're sleeping over at your friend's house, but they don't give you a blanket. So the guy's like got like the couch is like leaned over on top of him, or he found a
His
TV,
TV.
box.
You see the blinds? The one guy was in the
With
blinds.
yeah. It's like got the blinds over top of him to stay
I
warm.
literally had flashbacks and PTSD from that. Literally, I
Yep.
saw the same meme, and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
To this day, he always has a spare blanket with
You know what
him.
the best part? The best part I think about the whole thing was, and Aaron, you get a little bit of a pass because your bachelor party. So like,
A little bit. I get the whole pass.
I'm not saying no.
I cleaned
You
up
get a
Daniel's
pass.
vomit.
I
at his
agree.
bachelor party.
I agree.
Hey,
Well,
you
and I
get a
agree.
pass.
You
You get a pass, but because your brother was like complicit in this crime, you're somewhat by association. You're a little responsible. KC, as soon as he got to his place, he just goes, "All right, night, guys," and went to his bedroom. Like he didn't go, "Hey, this is a blanket."
Well, he
hey,
didn't go
sorry."
to his bedroom. We were in his
Oh, yeah,
bedroom
we were in
because
his
it was
bedroom.
one room.
We were
There's one
in his
room.
we were in his office, living room, bedroom.
He just stopped talking to us.
Yeah,
he just
everything.
went to sleep. He just shut down.
I'm pretty sure he tried to charge us to use his bathroom too. But yeah,
Oh man.
but he was talking about like he used City Bike. Was it City Bike at the time? One of the bikes.
the bike rentals.
Yeah,
It
the
was
bike
one of the
rentals,
bikes.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
using that a lot because he didn't have a car
Right.
at the
Well,
time.
you don't need
'Cause
one.
He was in
He's
DC.
in DC.
He's in DC.
yeah.
And the best was he was like, "Oh well," because at some point someone's like, "Oh, how far is this place away?" I think it was Ross or I, because we were
Of
like,
course, I'm
you
gonna
know, like
ask.
this is BS. Like, come on. And I will say, like, we walked like 5 minutes to wherever we got pizza and stuff for dinner, but like everywhere else was 100 miles away.
Yeah.
And like Ross or
Wait, how many places
Casey-
did we walk to? I only remember one.
Like four,
3 or
maybe.
4.
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
on that same street.
Holy shit. Okay.
It was the longest street in America.
Oh my god, by far.
I don't remember. I guess I don't remember some parts of the night.
But yeah, you're somewhat complicit in the no blanket, no lodging thing.
Whatever. Fend for yourself. Fend for yourself.
Hey, man.
Survival of the fittest.
Hey,
Did
man.
he know we were going to be there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he
yeah,
did?
knew.
He knew the
Okay.
whole time.
Yeah, he knew.
Well,
It's straight on his shoulders.
he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
I had a
Yes.
blast.
You
I had a
know-
No,
blast.
Casey's awesome.
So some hockey stuff has happened,
Yeah.
right? You want to talk about some
Should
hockey?
we get John
talk
going
some
about the
hockey?
Letang?
Yeah.
Can we
talk.
talk about Letang and Malkin? I really want
Yeah.
to talk about Malkin though.
So,
Oh,
all
okay.
right, really quick.
So we'll get John on this.
So Eric
ahead.
and I were chatting actually before you guys got here a little bit. The Letang thing, I'm aggravated about the term, but like the dollar figure to me to some extent, I'm fair with it. Whatever. And you could subtract the legacy player. He's won a cup even though technically he only was on the ice for 2. Whatever. However you want to say it. The Malkin thing bothers me because now it's coming off like he's leaking this stuff or someone is leaking this stuff to make it seem like he's very upset at the Penguins. And I think that's like an NBA player or NFL type player move or even MLB. Like you just don't discuss like why you're upset with a team, why you're not upset with a team. There's a reason they're giving you that term. I don't know. I wish they would have just peeled the Band-Aid, gave them both a somewhat similar contract and go, one of you is going to sign for this term and this dollar amount, and the other one, we're going to trade your rights or you're going to walk happily ever after. And I'm fine with that because at the end of the day, all those players, Malkin and Letang, they're legacy players. They'll probably, strong chance, have their numbers retired in Pittsburgh, and I'm totally fine with that. But I don't like this thought process, especially lately in the NHL of, oh, well, these players get to pick and choose where they want to play, blah, blah, blah. But then you have it, oh, well, they want to play with this team. Well, like Malkin, Letang, and Sydney have been, it was earlier this year, 16 years together, the 3 longest serving tenure in all of North American sports. Great. There's a reason that doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
That's what irks me the most about it.
So I'm going to take the emotion out of it because I don't care about those players or that team, right?
Tell us, Caps fan. Tell us.
The rumor is that he's asking 4 years, $6 million.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
I think that is perfectly reasonable. I think that's actually spot on.
It's better than Letang.
I think
I
that's
think
fair.
it's spot
Way
on.
better than
I
for
think that's fair
Malkin.
because that would take him to 40 years old.
I think it's spot on for Malkin. I think the Letang deal is ridiculous on the term.
That's 2.5
That deal's a
or
joke.
3 years too long.
I think it's at least 3 years.
My
too
only
long.
fear with the Penguins not honoring 4 years is they know something about that knee or his rehab.
Maybe they do.
And yes, he had
But-
41 points, 20 goals. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, look. Well, it was also reported like if you watched him skate, it was not the same skater.
No. And and he is older, right? I mean, he's 36 now, right?
He's
So, like,
36. It'll
yeah.
be actually Sid and Letang are both 87s like me.
Does it make it better that I heard, I don't know if it's true, but is it front loaded? Like, does that make it better, like easier to trade?
well,
the
no,
contract?
Not really.
Later on.
So
The
part of
AAV
it
is the only thing that really matters.
Right. The AAV is the only thing that matters against the cap. The front load, whatever.
backload signing bonus.
That's all
Yeah.
about how much you're going to pay the player each
Yeah.
year.
And I think in terms of like the front loaded or back loaded contracts, depending on how you want to look at it, if you're a team, let's say Arizona, who like cares about what they have on the AAV to get to cap
To the floor.
basement. Yeah. The AAV matters. But in terms of what actual cash you're paying to that player, like in terms of the Tavares and the Nylander deal, and those just come to mind quickly, their cash is actually pretty low. A lot of their money's paid up front in a signing bonus.
It's all paid up front.
It's all
yeah.
paid up front. So that's a good thing. Like Letang, for example, it drops in
But
terms
that's an accounting
Yeah,
exercise.
that
Exactly.
doesn't really matter.
The cap,
Exactly.
the cap
Yeah.
management side of it is what really matters.
Mhm.
So if you're paying Letang
6.1.
AAV 6.1
For
in the
6.
in the last 3 years of that deal, he's not going to make it.
Well, and
No.
that's the thing that scares me. They're like, oh, well, he has this dedication to fitness and his
He
Health
has
is
to.
supreme.
He
I'm
has
like-
to
I'm
play.
like, you know what?
He has to play an average of 65 games a season over the last term of his last
and
contract.
over 26 minutes a night.
Right.
That's
sometimes
a big.
but-
sometimes that's overtraining though.
Exactly. And
maybe
from what I've
that's-
seen, like he's
maybe
done
jumping
more.
all over those hurdles is a problem. I've seen that video.
Them knees though.
Letang has done similar to like Matthews and Nylander. From what I've seen, their training, it's more like body weight, plyometrics,
Yeah,
bands
yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh great, you're training for the current NHL. Great, Letang.
Right.
But this is a guy who's also had multiple knee injuries, multiple hip,
A stroke.
concussion, a stroke, which I have my own feeling on the stroke in terms of how it happened, but whatever.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
happened-
Dr. Walker, please enlighten us.
Yeah, right.
That sounds good, by the way, Dr. Walker.
Oh,
that sounds super official.
It's
I
got a
dig
ring
that.
to it.
I'm gonna get a Hezbollah meme for that. I gotta find that dude in a trench coat, or a lab coat, not a trench coat. My bad.
Whoa.
What?
But anyway, he also had a severe neck injury. And my
that's
thing
right.
is like Letang he's elusive. He doesn't take a lot of abuse. Letang's also in the nonsense all the time. He loves like being in, scruffing up. So what happens when someone blows his face up? When he just gets obliterated in the corner all the
LTIR.
time?
It's
Yeah,
the same
the
thing
way that
hap-
all people
same thing
retire
that
these
happens
days.
same thing that happens every season. He doesn't play a full season.
Yeah.
I don't think when I was looking at the numbers this week when we were talking about it, I don't think he's ever played
A full 82.
a full 82.
He had a 78. I know
He had a
at least one
78 last season,
last
Yeah.
season. Yeah. There you go.
which was the last
so
season
he's
of
getting
his
better
last
with
contract.
age. He's getting better with age.
He's a fine wine.
Yeah,
Oh,
Danny.
okay.
Danny. Hey, Danny Aaron, just curious.
Riggs is here
Danny,
to take the
hey,
emotion
hey,
out of it.
Time out. Just because you two. Hold on. You guys are all older than me. You guys think you guys are aging like a fucking wine?
No.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm not jumping hurdles though.
Not.
It's true. I'm not on
I've
an
got
NHL
one
regimen.
Theragun.
I only have one Theragun.
I've got two thighs. What am I
Actually,
supposed to do?
I'm
with the other one?
100% serious. I'm bringing a Theragun to our tournament.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds
OFPG turn?
Oh,
very
yeah.
advisable.
Oh my gosh. I told Ross about it after our tournament. I bought it. I was having some back issues. And my girlfriend is finally like, why don't you just get one of those muscle guns? You always like look at people using it on YouTube and laugh. I'm like, whatever. Well, because people were like hitting their face with it, and it's funny to me. So I
It is
got
funny.
it.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, I know. They're totally misusing it. So I got it and I used it on my back. Yeah. They were like hitting themselves in the eye socket, like getting black eyes. It was the funniest thing to me. I don't know why. Hi, I'm Johnny Walker. Welcome to Jackass. Yeah. Exactly. But I used it. I told Ross about it. I was singing its praises, and all of a sudden Ross.
I bought one. Same one.
They work?
And Ross?
But
Oh,
you,
I
had,
love it.
you had a
Works.
demo in the lot after
Oh yeah.
after a tournament weekend.
Oh, all in. All in. Actually, the older I've got, I have a golf ball where at some point we're going to do a what's in the bag, like breaking down all the psychopath shit.
So it's gonna be 30 minutes of you showing everything in your bag,
Yeah,
and like
and then
5
I
of
have a
ours.
golf ball.
Yeah. I have a golf ball and I roll out my feet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I roll on my feet before the game.
Lacrosse
It
ball.
helps.
Hmm.
No, I use a golf ball because it's like on my feet. If it was a lax ball,
You
I use
have
it on my
you have
shoulder. and stuff.
plantar fasciitis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Yeah.
Dr. Rigo.
Dr. Rick.
Dr. Rigo.
We have,
He
a
has
lot,
spoken.
That doesn't sound as good.
we have a lot of doctors on this
Dr.
team.
Riggs.
A lot of
That's
esteem.
like somebody that you would go to.
Well,
for,
this
No,
is a-
it's like
the
it's
feel
the
good.
Joker. No, it's the Joker's doctor from the first movie. Remember when he goes in the basement and he like gets all
Oh, yeah.
fixed up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All he does is he dyes his face white. He doesn't do anything.
Fixed.
Yeah, fixed.
We're not medical doctor. We're
This is a-
PhDs.
this
not
is a-
med- we
this
don't
is
use
a-
the
No, podiatry.
This is this is a
podiatry or
this is a
podiatry.
this is a podcast of esteemed doctors.
My thought on the Letang and Malkin situation is, I have to hope that Hextall and Berkey are asking, is this making the team better? Either now, well, they have to be considering now and the long term both. I have to think that if they didn't think that they could make the team better in the long term with these deals, then they wouldn't have made them. I mean, who said it? One of you guys said it on our group text that they still have like $15 million to work with.
I did because they should give Malkin the 4x6.
Yeah, give him what he wants for 4 years. It's a good term.
Give him the 4x6. So now you have 9 left for this year, and you could go do something, whatever you feel like you have to do. Here's the other thing I'm going to say about this situation. They still have Sid. As long as you have Sid, you go for it.
Yeah.
You have
Why not?
You still have generational talent on the team. And by the way, Malkin is also generational talent.
Absolutely.
Top 101 player, though.
Right?
Not 100.
Well,
102.
he's still generational talent.
You could argue that Letang is in the same kind of
He might be in
conversation
that
as well.
same mix, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you have Sid still playing active, you need to do whatever you can to keep making the playoffs,
Absolutely.
right?
Because making it is all that
So-
you need to worry about.
So what do you need to do? You need to be strong up the middle.
Get
how
a-
can you-
about a
how are
center
you
who's
not-
really good?
How are you not giving him 4x6?
What center is out there at 6 that is as good as Malkin?
Nobody.
At 6?
At 6?
Yeah, no.
All right.
6 is,
so-
is a steal for a Malkin type center.
And that's his
Age
ask.
regardless.
That's his ask. The rumor. That's his
the
ask.
rumor.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
problem.
the
So
rumor.
here's my only fear. If we break down the players' ages as of today in starting center with Gino, hypothetically, fourth line still up in the air. Teddy Bluger, maybe we'll see who's
Yeah.
a fourth line center, whatever.
I'm just trying to fix your top 6.
I know.
That's all I'm
Right.
doing.
So I'll just break down the top 3. 35, 36, 37.
Yeah, they're older. I get it.
And my
They're still good.
But they're still that good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I fully agree with they get to the dance. They can get into the dance. I'm not worried about that. My fear is in 2 years, 3 years. That's my fear with Malkin.
That's why the 4-year deal is nice.
But that was our
because-
fear 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Oh, they're going to be too old to do
See,
anything.
but here's the thing. I would fully argue, and I would take anyone's argument, whether or not they want to argue with me. That's fine. 2016 and 17, yes, I'm so happy they won back-to-back cups. That was somewhat of super found money,
Yeah.
whether or not you want to believe it.
you can make an argument even with Chicago, and honestly even with Tampa.
Screw Chicago.
You
that
could
team
probably make
sucked.
an argument that back-to-back cups in this era is there's a huge element of luck involved in that. I would yes, you got to have a good team in order to make it that far, but it doesn't matter how good you are. Sometimes you just don't win. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, look at
in
Tampa
era.
this year.
Yeah, Tampa
They
this
just
year.
faced a team that was better.
Yeah, and I think that going back to back, it's there. I don't want to say it's a fluke, but there's a huge element of luck involved in that.
But we're not
100%.
okay.
But yeah, it's
Well,
we're getting
I
off track.
think they would have gotten way further had they had a number 1 goalie.
Yeah, I agree with
The
that.
goalies are always getting
I
hurt
guess-
going into the playoffs.
And guess what? You could do that. You could sign Malkin to this 4x6 deal, and you could go get a goalie for next season.
Yeah, I don't
Because
see
you
why
got
not.
the
could.
backup. You got the
You could.
backup. You could
Mhm.
make
Yeah.
Jari disposable.
They
you
signed
could.
DeSmith for like $1 million or something.
Guess who might be
League
available?
minimum.
Who might be available?
Well, Darcy Kemper's going to the Caps. We already know that.
Who else might be available?
There is an American-born player who we are very high on this podcast.
Yes.
Who's also recently getting married, and I heard Pittsburgh is a great place to raise a family.
Yes.
It's somebody who knows
Yes.
family there.
Still in the
So-
city.
Yeah. Some city.
So,
Some call it the Toronto of Western PA.
Can I get a name?
That's what I heard.
Can I get a name? I'm shy.
Jack Campbell.
Jack Campbell.
The Jack Campbell.
I didn't know either. Rob.
I mean, and so you sign Malkin at 4x6 that eats up 6 of your 15 for next year. You have 9 left. You could bring him in,
For probably 5 or 6.
right? And you still have room.
And I would almost leave that room and go like, hey, Zahorna, POJ, let's go. Like,
Yeah, bring the
let's
kids.
bring
yeah,
some of these
bring the
kids
Bring the
up.
prospects up.
we
and
need
bring
to
the
start
guys.
doing that because the cupboards are bare. But
Look,
also, too,
I don't care about that team.
yeah, I
I'm-
know you don't.
I'm. Here's the
Riggs fixed it for us.
Here's the problem with
Oh,
that
yeah.
team. Here's the problem with that team. They have a former Flyers goalie running the fucking show.
Oh, scumbag.
So
He's
and
from
also
Pittsburgh.
it's funny you mention Hextall because like I like his overall thought
I knew
process.
this was going to happen.
I do like his overall thought process. He is rumored because I've never spoken to the man. I have been on the front office's level of PPG and then
Discord?
quickly got
They have a Discord.
no.
channel?
I
Or-
actually like snuck up there. I snuck
Oh.
up there one year in the summer and then I was quickly escorted out. They're like, why are you up here? I'm like, oh, sorry. I took like an extra flight of stairs.
I need to tell them how to run this team.
I know.
This kid's not 12 years old.
I know.
Knock,
Get
knock,
him out
knock.
of here. This is a grown ass man.
Yeah, exactly. This guy has gray hair. What the hell? The issue you hear with Hex all the time, it's patience. And unfortunately, with that roster makeup the way it is today with Sid and Letang and yeah, let's just throw Gino in there for the shits and giggles. You can't necessarily afford to be patient. Now, I'm not saying you got to sell the farm, get all these pieces together, because you almost have to do both. It's an interesting dance. Are the Caps going to get Kemper?
There's a lot of shit being said. Like a couple weeks ago, everybody's like, "Oh, they're gonna go get Kadri," and then 2 weeks after that, it was like, "Oh, they're gonna go get Gaudreau or Kachuk from Calgary." Like, really? Okay. And now it's like, "Oh, they're gonna go get Kemper." So who knows?
Well,
The Caps are
actually,
getting everybody then.
They're just gonna get all of them. Just get all of them. Well, here's the thing though: with Backstrom having the hip surgery, he is definitely going to go on LTIR, no matter what. Even if he comes back and he plays, which he's not, because
Cap space is
the
available.
people that have had that surgery,
Ryan Kessler.
the most games that they played when they came back was like 30 couple games. That's it.
Ryan Kessler's the most recent, and he never played again.
He done. Backstrom's done. This is it. So they're going to get all that back, which is nice. So they can make some moves. It's just, it's a matter of where do they feel like they need to fill holes. So if you lose Backstrom, you got to go after a center, I think. So if Kadri's out there, depending on what he's asking for, and you feel like with the goalie movement that you've done the last week or so, moving Vanacek,
Real quick, how many years are on Backstrom's contract? How many?
he just
how
signed
many
and
years
he just signed up to match
Okay.
Ovechkin's 5-year.
right. So he's
So
done this season, but he'll probably be back.
he is not. He will. So they're saying he's going to try and. He had the surgery. He's going to try and come back this coming season. That may be so, but everybody that's had that surgery, the most games they ever played was like 30 some games.
So this season he's done, but then next maybe you think he's coming? Like, is that
No,
what you're saying?
I'm
Or
saying he's done.
Completely done.
And the thing about the hips
Man,
is he was never
Yeah.
not in a bad way about Backstrom. He was never a fast skater.
No,
So
he was
add-
never known as a
So
skater.
so think
No.
about it. A guy who like is somewhat hindered by a hip injury.
So here's my question. Ovechkin has 894 goals, and they're going into a home game. Backstrom's still under contract. Do you think he skates up and tries to get the assist?
They
'Cause
haven't.
they've talked about that a long
They
time.
haven't played
haven't they?
together for 4 years anyway.
Really?
Yeah, they split
Oh,
him.
man.
He's been playing with
Okay.
Kuzi.
He's been playing with Kuznetsov since
Huh.
the 2018
All right.
Cup run.
I thought that
like,
was always a thing. It was like, they wanted to, stay to.
well, that's
he
why
has so many of
that's
his
why
assists.
that's why he negotiated the deal the way
Right.
that he did, was so that they could finish at the same time, right?
Mm,
But now with this hip thing,
yeah, probably not.
he's
then.
he's
Okay.
done.
Backstrom
He
may drop
might-
the puck that
He
game.
might play next season, but that's it.
right.
That's it.
Hmm.
Those guys don't come back from that procedure.
Right. That's sad.
They
That's
also
that's
didn't
a tough
have
injury.
Ovi sitting there getting ready to score from their assist.
Well,
Wouldn't that motivate you?
Mhm,
Like
mhm,
you're
mhm.
saying?
yeah, but there's only so much that physiology can do for you.
Thanks,
There's
Dr.
only
Rigo.
there's only so much.
Thanks, Dr. Rigo.
There's
Dr.
only
Rigo.
so much.
Dr. Rigo.
There's only so. I'm telling you, the guys like I have Kessler up over there. There's a little fathead of him. I think he was the one that played like 30 games when he came back from the same procedure.
But what did he have to play for?
His career, his livelihood? He had to pay a
Loves the game,
mortgage. He has
tries hard.
kids. Like, there's a lot, right?
I'm just
But-
saying, man.
But he couldn't do it. And Kessler has always been known as one of the most
He's frightening in terms of what he
physically
endures.
in
Yeah.
shape dudes, like,
Yep.
and he couldn't come back. And Backstrom, there was a time when people were like, Backstrom's a little too heavy to play in the NHL. Seriously, there were a lot of people that said
He was
that.
never on the Devontae Smith Pelly diet or anything. But
Right.
like,
But there were people
I
that
always
said,
felt like he was small.
I don't think he's.
I think he has
In
a milk
stature,
body. I think
maybe,
he has
but
a milk body.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, like he just doesn't look like a. I mean, like I bet if they you showed him, like kind of like Ovi, but Ovi's kind of like that genetic.
Ovi's different,
mutant.
man. Yeah,
Like it's just different altogether.
He is absolutely built different.
He
Like,
is a
defines
freak.
that.
He
that
is a
phrase.
freak. Yeah,
But you see
You saw him
those.
playing soccer, and the guy just bounced off of him.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
well, yeah,
You see
because
those-
that dude weighed $180.
Yeah, that
Ovi
dude-
goes for
a buck-
240.
He might have been $160. That guy was tiny.
Yeah, that guy looked like a jockey on the Kentucky Derby. Like, come on, like Ovi bounced him.
Oh,
But,
he
like-
didn't even slow down. He was just.
But that's
with
the other
room.
thing. Like these players, I mean, we've mentioned it a little while ago. These players that we kind of grew up, not really grown up, but like
Bro,
especially in
I'm
terms
42 years old.
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't
old
grow
as
up with these.
hell.
I didn't grow up with these players.
You're old as
I just
hell.
watched them. I watched
Watch
them while
these
they grew up.
children.
Of, but I
I
remember,
watched
all right,
them while they grew
so
up.
I'll say like my piece about Sid. So the 2005 season when the player lockout happened, that was my senior year of high school, and everyone made fun of like me and my buddies. It was like, you guys are nerds. Your teams aren't even playing. They can't even agree. And it was like devastating because there was no NHL hockey. And this was 2005, so like you couldn't even find decent streams on the internet. Like you had better chances of finding streams of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like Sydney was drafted that, July. So like my whole essentially adult life I've been following Sydney and the Pens. So it's like a good
Right.
emotional attachment. Not that I'm like
I'll put it to you
crying,
this
but
way.
like Backstrom too, to some extent. Novi, I would agree.
I was kind of like off of the NHL for a few years, and then when Ovechkin came, it like rekindled that interest. Like I was still playing, right? I still love hockey, but that's because I play, right? Like so I was still playing, but I wasn't like watching NHL like hardly at all. And then when he came, I started going to games again. Right. And at that time, like in the Caps building, you could sit down low for cheap because they suck. But like he was there and you could go watch him. And he was like shit.
I think that this is not an uncommon phenomenon because between like 99, 2000 and about 2004,
Exactly.
I didn't care about I didn't have a team. I didn't care who won.
Exactly.
And I couldn't tell you who won the Stanley Cups those years. But 2004, I know Tampa did.
Well, John could.
Johnny could because he's a freak.
Because he's a nerd.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm same situation. I didn't care about the NHL for a while, and then all these good players started coming in. Ovechkin, Crosby, Malkin, all these players started coming in the league, and I'm like, this is awesome. These guys are scoring amazing goals on their backs and shit.
Yeah.
Like I got to watch this game again. Like, and it absolutely got me fired back to watch more hockey.
The year after the lockout was also the first year of the new rule implementation.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the
So
salary.
see,
At that time,
the salary cap era.
I didn't like all that because like when I was growing up and I started playing hockey and stuff, like that, like the way that it was in, the 90s was how I knew the game. So when they were like, oh, we're going to change this, we're going to change that, blah, 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 I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, and that's part of what turned me off. And then also like, I didn't care. Like I didn't care about the team because they had moved all or either they retired or got hurt and they couldn't play anymore, or they moved all of them away and then tanked and then got the pick and then they get Ovechkin and I, like you said, I think there's cycles, right?
Yeah,
that you go through, and
not for everybody. Daniel, I think the top line that the Pens had before they got like. You've told me the top line. It was like Yuri Slegger and
I just know a lot of players. I don't know lines.
All right.
Yeah.
The top line of the lockout year,
Tarnstrom
like
was our leading scorer.
Dick Tarnstrom was the top
The year
line.
before the lockout, it was Tricky Dick Tarnstrom was the leading scorer. We had Alexei Morozov, Rico Fata, and
Rico.
Rico.
Yeah,
Fata.
see these
Fata.
I remember
these
Rico
guys,
Fata.
they know this stuff. They were paying attention, but I was.
But I wasn't
watching.
watching. I wasn't watching that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
But then when you get those type of players, when you get an Ovechkin or a Sid or whatever, it comes in, and then it becomes interesting again, right?
And I wonder how much that's happening, like continues to happen now, because I think of like Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, all these guys are coming in the league that are just amazing players, and the kids that are or not the kids, but the people who might have been
I
turned
think-
off to hockey for a
so
little while.
it's interesting.
coming back.
It's interesting that you mentioned those two because they're in Canadian markets, and I think it's completely different culture up there, right?
True.
Like down here in an American market, we're not like if the team isn't doing well, I'm not gonna
Right.
spend my time down here watching them. Like I'm not, right?
And watch the good teams. Yeah.
Right. But I think in the Canadian market, every Saturday night, whether the team is doing well or not, the kids are all in front of the TV watching
Hockey night in
And
Canada.
it's similar to
their,
NFL.
their team, right?
It's similar to NFL. Even when your team is 2-14 or whatever in the NFL, there are people going there every Sunday
Yeah.
going, "We're gonna
yeah.
do something." Yeah, no,
Right.
you're not.
And as much as we want to tout like, oh, the American game is growing and everything, it's not like it is in Canada. So like if you took like a team like Colorado, right, where they had success in the past, right, and then 5 years ago they were the last place team in the league
Because they had
Right.
Patrick Waugh as
in
coach.
the
Yeah.
league. Right, but they also had some very exciting young players coming in, and I think maybe that sparked some interest, and now they've realized that success, and that's gonna roll on. But if you have a young player like McKinnon and Landeskog coming in at that time, it starts to grow the fan momentum as well as the team momentum. Right?
Think about Toronto really quick though. Like you mentioned Austin Matthews and McDavid. How cool is it that like kids in Toronto and kind of the Ontario area, you ask them, "Who's your favorite player?" Austin Matthews. Like they
It's
scoff at you,
American
like
kid,
"Oh,
too.
it's an American kid.
Yep.
It's an American kid.
From Arizona.
From
right?
Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm so mad Logan Cooley went to Arizona. I'm
Hey,
so
he gets
bad
to
about
play in
that.
front of a packed crowd every night.
Yeah, at Arizona State
They're
University.
gonna sell out
5,000
that
fans.
5,000 seat arena.
Oh my god. Well, they said something like Logan Cooley, he's going to Minnesota. And someone said something, it was on Twitter, but I was even saying the same thing, like, oh, he gets to check out the arena before he goes pro. That's great. Good for him. God, I hate Arizona so much. Shane Wright's a baby too.
Yeah, I don't like his attitude. All that stuff with the like staring down Montreal at the pick or what. Like,
Yeah.
I agree with what you were saying in Discord. Maybe Montreal scouts saw this and were
I
like,
think-
no,
well,
skip this guy.
The other big thing I think too, all the pro scouts said he had a very poor showing in the OHL playoff, super poor, and that was one of their last impressions. Slafosky played in the Olympic tournament. Yes, no pros, but it's still men. He was the MVP.
It's international.
It was international
Yeah.
competition. He was the MVP of the Olympic tournament. Played in world championships and did very well as well. So big body, foreign player. So he also can play in the AHL in Laval, which is 30 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
They can have a lot of time. Shane Wright, unfortunately, you could send him back to junior, which Wyatt Johnson was with Dallas. And guess what? Wyatt Johnson led the OHL in scoring. So he took the message the right way. But if you're Seattle and you see how he acted, and he constantly was like, oh, well, I have a chip on my shoulder. But I just wouldn't even mention it. Even if you did.
So if I'm Seattle, I'm like, oh, you don't want to be here?
Why do you have a chip on
Like-
your shoulder?
Right. Like,
Seattle's only going to go up.
Yeah, exactly.
and
Well,
now you're the guy. No, you're the
they're
guy.
at the bottom. Yeah.
They
can only
they
go
go and get him with their pick in the first
I like that,
round,
Daniel.
and now he's the guy that they build around.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're the guy. That's a place to be in Montreal. Like they were there last year.
Yeah.
They were in the Cup final last year. They're not that far off. So,
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why I would feel like if I was picked by one of those teams, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna turn this franchise around.
exactly.
I'm gonna help.
Absolutely.
And
I'm gonna
also,
be a part of that.
and also
If you're
too,
that big of a deal that you think
if
that, oh,
you're-
I should be picked by
Yeah.
whatever team, you're that big of a deal, you could turn a franchise around. Absolutely.
if you're Shane Wright, let's say hypothetically, that roster in Montreal, because they know it's a rebuild, they know it's a retool, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of turnover currently there. Marty St. Louis, he's going to work on some things. Short King, Cole Caulfield's there. We'll right the ship.
I
We're
love
fine.
Cole Caulfield.
Yeah,
Short King Summer.
Short King Summer. We're there. We're gonna be fine. But if you're Seattle, like Shane Wright, he's going to play next year, even if he gets 1 point.
Yeah.
He's probably going to play as many games as they want to give him because A, they need players, and B, like they're building something. So they're going to spend a little bit of money in free agency. They're going to give him some tools around him.
Yeah.
So I just think he's like, there's a chip in my shoulder.
But I still say,
baby.
you brought it up, Aaron. I still say that came up in the. Did he go to the combine?
I don't remember if he
Could
did.
he do a pull-up?
Well, I wasn't going there.
There was a lot. There was actually quite a few players that have like not been able to do a pull-up.
I wasn't going there, but
Anyway.
but
Casey Middlestack.
I have a feeling they saw some behavior in the interview process, right?
Yeah, they didn't like
because they interview all the players and they didn't like what they saw.
Yeah,
and they were like, you know what, we're gonna go somewhere else.
And also Marty St. Louis too being there is a premier player. I think he can kind of read a lot of that.
Yeah,
and I actually really liked the message he did like to open the draft when he came out, and he said like, any of you kids who are sitting there at home or here that aren't drafted, like, you still have a long road ahead. Like,
it's good.
You can still do it. I like the fact that Marty said he was undrafted, undersized, all that nonsense. You could say whatever. And like, I think they say it all the time. Like, oh, if you're not drafted, keep working. Like, I'm sure a lot of kids don't take that like and go like, yeah, whatever. I don't think that's the way of a lot of those like high level athletes, but I'm sure when it comes from Marty, they're definitely like, hell yeah, dude.
I'm gonna say it here, and the same thing that I wrote in the Discord chat. Those top picks, they've been told for a long, long time that they're the best.
Absolutely.
By a lot of different people. Parents, family members, friends, the
coaches, everybody around.
the agents,
player advisors,
the player advisor, the player advisors. Yeah, they're not agents, but they're player advisors, right?
Who get a cut of the agency fee,
right?
And all the other nonsense. They don't do anything.
All these people around them have been telling them for a long time. Probably, by the time they get to that 18, 19 years old range, probably for about 7 years, 8 years, they've been told for a long time, you're the best. You're going to go number one overall. Right. And then when you get to that time and things aren't going well, you didn't have a good playoffs in OHL Memorial Cup. You get to the draft and now you drop to number 4 and you have a shitty attitude. It just shows who you really are.
Yep. I agree completely.
Fuck them.
Fuck.
Wow, I wasn't going that far. I mean, he's still a good player. Holy
what about the kid Tampa picked, Howard, with the turtleneck and the chain?
Can we talk about that style?
That's dope.
Yeah, turtleneck,
USA kid,
the chain,
turtleneck.
I'm part of the chain gang.
Chain,
and the fact he's playing in Florida, he could be Don Johnson all the time.
And apparently, Yager was like shitting on him in interviews over in Czech. Yager was like, oh, this kid or whatever. What's up with that? Like,
Yager's probably bent because he never wore turtleneck.
Is he jealous?
Probably.
Yeah. So this kid is making Jaromir Jagr jealous.
Sounds like JJ needs to go to the jelly school.
His belt buckle? Do you see the belt buckle?
I know. American.
Did you
like
see
that?
his belt buckle?
This is the first time
That's
I've seen this picture.
That's what tied it together for me. The belt buckle.
Like, are you kidding?
I'm getting the Rock vibes.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like a mix between The Rock and Don Johnson.
He just
man.
needs a fanny pack. Is that what you're saying? Like that picture
No.
of The Rock?
Not here. Look,
I was focused on the turtleneck and chain. He's got an all white suit.
Yeah,
Are you
exactly.
kidding
That's
me?
a Don
Yeah,
Johnson.
that's-
I know.
Miami Vice.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. He's in, man. He's going to look great in Syracuse the next 2 years.
He's gonna look great in the Q's.
Yeah, he's going to look great in Syracuse.
I think before we go, we probably better say thank you to Ross for joining us for this episode. Been great having you here. Hope to have you here for some future ones when we do in person some more. So thanks for stopping by, bringing beers with you.
Absolutely.
That's
beers.
always going to go over well with the Beers in the Lot crew.
This was fun. And can I say to another 100?
Oh, yes!
To another 100?
You're definitely coming back now.
To another 100?
Yes.
All right, another big thank you to Ross for joining us on this 100th episode of Beers in the Lot. And thank you to you for listening. We couldn't have made it to 100 without you. We've had an absolute blast making the last 100 episodes, and we don't have any plans to stop anytime soon. Only plans to make it to 200. So we'll see you next week with episode 101. And in the meantime, come join us on Discord. beersinthelot.com/Discord. Or if you want to support us on Patreon, it's beersinthelot.com/Patreon. We'll catch you next Wednesday.